beautiful morning to you and welcome to Business Focus, the program that unravels the complexities of the corporate world and also brings you insights on matters that are happening now. We're also going to look at the forefront of industry innovation. I am Maria Ado Zakari, and in every episode, like every other day, we dive into practices and innovations in businesses and commerce. Before then, let's take a quick look at the stock market numbers. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We'll take the stock market numbers now. We'll start with the highest volume, with Silicon coming in first at 87 trades at the volume of 6.003 and the value of 19.503. And MTN Nigeria comes in next at 40 trades, and 67,587 volume at the value of 15.833. Next is UBA Nigeria with 32 trades and 98,959 volume at the value of 2.060. We're going to look at the top gainers now, with VFDG Group coming in first with positive 9.97%, and Mercure coming in next with positive 9.80%. Coming in next is Maya with positive 0.72%, and Regulance is last on the list with positive 9.38%. We'll move on now to the losers. That's the bottom losers, with Covertain topping the list at negative 9.52%, and eTransact coming in second at negative 4.43%. Third on the list is Qtix with negative 3.93%, and the last on the list is Fidelity Bank with negative 3.68%. Do stay with us. We'll go on the interview segment just now. Stay tuned. Good morning and welcome to Business Focus. Today we'll be looking at the pledge of the Saudi Arabian government to invest in Nigeria's refineries. We have with us Malam Yusho Aliu to help us go through and walk us through the promises that the Saudi Arabian government has for us on the refineries. Welcome, Malam Yusho Aliu. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
So we heard that the Saudi Arabian government, that's the prince promised, the crown prince promised to help Nigeria go about the refineries. Can you paint a picture for us? Can you walk us through that?
It's a very good development, but it is an unfortunate development also. We have the same history in oil production, and we have the same history in investment in oil. In fact, Nigeria was ahead of Saudi Arabia in terms of investing in refining capacity, but today we have to go to Saudi Arabia to request their indulgence for our refining capacity to regain its own stage in economic stage. But however, I just appreciate the effort of Mr. President even to have a contact with the Saudi authority, despite the fact that it is also unfortunate for the African states to have a business forum. Africa is so great, is so large, it has more potential than Saudi Arabia. So I don't see reason why Saudi Arabia will converge all African states and decide on their business performances, which shows that we are lacking behind. And we just have to do something, especially in regard to what potential Africa is having. Crude oil is one. Africa has bundles of materials that is targeted by Western economies. And at the same time also, this petroleum industry is regarded as one of the paramount aspect of Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia produces over 11 million barrels per day, whereas Nigeria just produces 1.2, 1.5 million barrels per day. So there is a leverage against Nigeria, and it is important that today we are witnessing a good promise. And when you engage with Saudi Arabia, they don't play with investment. And that is why I'm happy. If they are to invest, they are coming directly to invest because they have the history, they have the capacity, and they have the political will.
Okay. So it should be good news for Nigerians, because if they do take on a challenge, they go and do it all the way to the very end.
Yes, especially when Prince Salman, you know, the Crown Prince is somebody who is trying to have many economic or business friends around the globe, and they are targeting a different market in the world because he has vision for Saudi Arabia. But we should make sure that also we are not going to enjoy only the privilege of investing in our economy, but we also have to align with certain foreign policies of Saudi Arabia. We should be preparing for that.
Okay. So talking about the investment for the refineries, what impact could this have on Nigeria's energy sector and overall economy?
You see, once energy sector is defined, is beyond crude oil production, is beyond gas production. It includes renewable energy and other sources of energy. Saudi Arabia has a potential of producing. Nigeria is struggling to produce just, what do you call it, 5,000 megawatt.
Oh, we're at 5. That's good news.
Yes, struggling. Saudi Arabia is above 80,000 megawatt production.
And we're struggling at 5.
While the biggest country that produces energy, that is the Chinese economy, is not in the class of megawatt. They are
above that.
They are above that. They are in petawatts, in billions, and that is why Saudi Arabia, with the capacity, look, only the two mosques. That is the two supreme mosques, the Mecca and Medina, consume over 2,700 sorry, 2,700 megawatts of electricity. So you can see the capacity which Saudi Arabia is having, but also the refining capacity. Saudi Arabia refined not 6, you know, the biggest refinery in Nigerian soil today is a proposed Dangote refinery that is targeting to produce about 650,000 barrels per day. Saudi Arabia refined over 1.1 million barrels per day. So
apart from the production, the refinery is also at top speed there.
Yes. So, and the speed at which they are employing experts around the globe managing the refinery is not the Nigerian case where you have tribal sentiment, religious sentiment. Saudi Arabia goes beyond that. Saudi Arabia is inviting professionals. If you are professional enough to serve the industry, they will qualify you, they will give you the opportunity, and you will come and take the benefit of that. So these are some of the lessons at which, if we are to boost our energy capacity, we have to go beyond tribe, beyond regionalization. We just have to look at the investment as it is, and also the target of the economy. Refining capacity of Kaduna Refinery, Warri Refinery, and Port Harcourt Refinery, all cannot produce more than 2 million barrels per day. Saudi Arabia single-handedly is producing 11 million barrels. So if it's an industry, that's Aramco, if Aramco has the potential of producing and exporting at the same time, then Saudi Arabia is going to target so much of market in West Africa. And that is the benefit Nigeria is supposed to have been driving from even the sub-region, the ECOWAS, that whereby if we have the refining capacity, we open our borders, we extend the production to Niger, extend production to Benin Republic, instead of everyday fighting that our crude oil is being smuggled. This is not good at all. But what I am hoping is that with the coming of the Saudi investment, they are coming with, let me give you an instance. If Saudi Arabia is supplying 11 million barrels per day, how much is it in terms of monetary value? So if they are coming to invest in Nigeria, definitely they will improve our capacity, they will create competition, and not only creating competition, they will be able to go beyond the market target, or where break-even point is to be attained.
So are there other countries that the Saudi Arabian government promised such help to also?
You see, I don't like the theory of help.
Okay.
There's a theory of investment.
Investment, sorry.
Potentially, Saudi Arabia is looking for market that have potentials. It's not everything that Saudi Arabia will want to be part of it. You can let me give you an instance. When former President Buhari decided to partner with Saudi Arabia, he was partnering between Kaaba and Jeddah, and it was not good for Nigeria. Now that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tactically hit the right model. The right model is partnership, and this Saudi prince is looking at so much potentials in Nigeria. Not only looking at potential, he has political will to invest in Nigeria. So forget about other partners that Saudi Arabia is not looking for business partners or anywhere. They are just looking at the potential partners that they share many things in common. Remember when Luqman was the president of OPEC, he has a very good relationship with the Saudi government, and at the same time the OPEC policies were very friendly with the Nigerian economy as well as Saudi economy. These are some of the ties. I think if we maximize the benefit in it, Nigeria is tend to benefit more than Saudi Arabia in the short run, and in the long run also Nigeria will benefit more because we have very large market, better than Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has only a potential of 27 million population. If you put the composition of population that is looking at the real Saudis, and immigrants, you find only 30 million. This is just a population of Kano. So if you now want to marry the size of the economy, the potential of the economy, Saudi oil will have more money, Saudi will have more investment, Saudi will have more political opportunities. In fact, time will come when they will even define our political leadership, if that is given significance. because by the time our refineries are working with Saudi investment, our gas sector is also working, our energy sector is also working, together with the Forex, all Saudi funds, then it means a lot in terms of superiority of economic relationship.
Okay, so we'll also benefit more than the Saudi government,
of course,
at the
yes.
short and long run.
Short and long run.
Okay, can you walk us through the Saudi Arabian pledge to help the Central Bank of Nigeria with the reforms? Yeah,
you see, the reforms we have been calling is, first of all, you cannot embark on a reform if you don't change attitude. W.W. Rostow, a developmental economist, asserted that for a society to have economic transformation, that society needs to change, to look at its own attitude, whether they are positive to the growth. If they are negative, we have to check that attitude. If we cannot check the attitude, what are those attitudes? The attitude of dollarization, the attitude of round-tripping of the dollar. These are attitudes that are poor. You cannot get them in Saudi Arabia. You cannot go to Saudi Arabia and see dollars being kept under soccer ways. You cannot see Saudi riyals kept under soccer ways. But they have an open policy. What do you call it? The prince, not only the prince, the head of the affairs, okay, the Sultan of Saudi Arabia, when he assumed office, when he was crown prince, is an individual worth over $34 billion on his own. So it's not the same.
Coupled with the office.
Yes. So these are people that have some capitalist background, and at the same time they are embarking on different economic reforms that is bringing more investors, that is creating more friends and creating more business partners. Nigeria, as a case study, if you take our central bank, you look at our policies, what is necessary for us, first of all, is to check our attitude, correct our political attitude of using dollars for political office. That has to be eliminated. Attitude of keeping dollars at home, doing nothing with it. Attitude of speculators that are scattered, that are sometimes illiterate as far as what economic policies are. These are people that are determining the rate at which we exchange our currency. We have to check all these excesses. If we check these excesses, Saudi Arabia has bundles of dollars. That's why I gave you that, for instance, the king of Saudi Arabia, when he was a crown prince, is worth over $34 billion. $34 billion is richer than Nigeria as it is. So if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 princes to invest in our forex, you are sure that we are going to have the right liquidity, and by having that liquidity is not going to be enough. We have to also converge for other Nigerians who are wealthy enough, who are keeping these dollars somewhere in Panama, in other parts of the world, to bring this, to create more friendly policies that will make them to invest in this same forex arrangement, so that we can have enough liquidity, so that the tension that is always being created by speculators will be wiped out.
Okay. So you talked about Aramco, that's the Saudi Arabian
oil company. Yeah.
Oil company, yes. Yeah. It's going to head the production of the refineries and everything involved. They give us a time of 2 to 3 years. Do you think it could be realistic, as the case may be in Nigeria? You talked about our own personality, the way we need to change our outlook first. Okay, so these people, the Saudi Arabian government, are diligent. We are not as much diligent as they are. So would the time frame given be okay for that to happen in Nigeria?
It depends on the MOU that is on the table. Okay. Not only the MOU, it depends also on how we look at the performance of Petroleum Industry Act. What type of arrangement are they coming to invest in Nigeria? If we are auctioning the refineries for Saudi company to overhaul the company, it will be better for all of us, because if you continue to maintain a moribund refineries, in 10 years cost of maintaining refineries that are not producing a single barrel was over $25 billion, bigger than the size of $19 billion.
Just maintaining.
Those maintaining. So Saudi Arabia will not co-opt this ideology. So the best thing is to perfectly make an arrangement under MOU, either local investors, local investors will now qualify to own and engage in partnership with the Aramco, it will be better. If it is better, within 2-3 years, the efficiency in the Aramco industry will be transferred to some of these refineries. And another case study is a simple fact. Simple fact is that we cannot have a working refinery where Nigerians are always targeting pipelines. You understand? Saudi Arabia will not invest in such an economic environment where individuals, if they feel somehow suppressed or otherwise, they just resort to bombing the pipeline that is supplying crude oil. So nobody will now come and invest in that kind of environment. But however, what I think should be opted out is the fact that since in Kolmani rivers, in Bashi State, we are happy that we have discovered an oil. Let us have a brand new refinery working in the first instance, near the oil fields. If we have that one, we now generate electricity. If we do that, we invest in railway. If we do that, we invest in human capital development index, where you have good schools, good training facilities. This will help the industry to take off and to be sustained.
So this is much more than just petroleum.
And it's more than it's an investment. And when you are investing, you are not investing for short-term benefit. You are investing for long-run benefit. So Saudi Arabia has much more resources, and they will be more happy to be controlling the African market, because Africa is very large. Africa has potential market, and if the project between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia is successful, definitely other economies will be willing to partner with Saudi Arabia in terms of refining capacity. But what is more dangerous in the whole scenario is the axis of the market. The axis of the market, Saudi Arabia produces refined capacity of 11 million barrels per day, and they have their target market. What is our target market? Like I told you in the beginning, Nigeria is a potential market where you have large cities, large consumption pattern with efficiency. There is going to be economic of scale as far as production is concerned. But what is more significant as far as this arrangement is concerned is where are the industry going to be located. If you are to make, for instance, to make Kaduna refinery to begin to work, where is the source of the crude oil? Is it still coming from Bayelsa, or is coming from the Bauchi axis, or is coming from the AKK line? You know the AKK line, the Ajakuta, Kaduna and Kano gas pipeline is intending to reach Morocco. So if our gas can reach Morocco, then definitely there is no need. We cannot make an arrangement whereby our crude oil, probably if it is produced, we can transport it through the same Morocco. We have another line that we can transport the production so that it can reach the world market. But what can be more efficient is a situation where you now put on ground, brand new, latest technology in Bauchi axis, so that you can manipulate the production. You can refine it, and then you look at the market around Nigeria and around West Africa and probably around the globe.
So that's a determinant factor.
Yeah, it will be a determining factor, because like I told you, if Saudi Arabia is coming, no matter what agreement you reach with Saudi Arabia, no investor is ready to invest where he will incur losses. No investor will waste his investment to put refinery to work and there is no material for that same refinery to work. So now that President Tinubu has agreed, and perfectly at the right time, I respected that ideology. Instead for you going and be dining with Saudi people, they will just open Kaaba, you enter, you come out. That is your own benefit. But what are the benefits you brought to the nation? These are some of the things.
Okay. So the next question would be, what potential benefits and challenges are there on the agriculture? He also spoke about agriculture.
See, in agriculture, you need to have a secured environment. That is the greatest danger of agriculture. The potentials of agric is first the security, where you have the secured environment, but you don't allow people to be using 1,000 years technology to produce in this modern world. they are going to be competed out. We have argued time with that number that yes, we can produce rice. Yes, we can maneuver to produce rice for our local consumption, but at what cost and at what price? Whatever you are producing in modern economy, this production that we are producing here is local, it has local content in all ramifications. I'm a Nigerian, you are a Nigerian, the production done is Nigeria, but the equipment that is transmitting all this is not Nigerian.
Sure.
So you have to always be looking at what is my capacity and what is the cost of my capacity and at what price my capacity is to be sold. We have made mistake thinking that we can just lock our borders and then create an agricultural revolution. It's never possible. The Americans, they have good policy on agriculture right from seedling. The type of seed you use, the type of input you use, the mechanization involved. You know, in production, in economics, you have to look at whether it is capital intensive or labor intensive. You don't need 1 million people to be in the farms. So that the theory of we should go back to farm is wrong theory in entirety. You need few skilled with mechanization. You produce what the entire globe can have. Look at what is obtained. How many people are in Ukraine that today they are determining the consumption of wheat? How many? How many? What is the size of Ukraine? What is the size of the entire Ukraine agricultural sector? So, but if you sustain the multiplier of value chain of energy sector, that will help you, because whatever that is produced in the market, it has to be processed and it has to be taken to the market. Then what are the energy requirements? You make provision. What are the market potentials? Market potential is not just to carry the road network where you take the cassava you grow in your village, the cocoa he grows to a neighboring market. That is not the efficiency we are talking. What are the functions of the income grouping? If you produce cassava, you take it to Kano market, you will not make sales. But produce a millet and go to Kano market, you see what it takes, the potentials are there. People have, if they have money in their pocket, sure, they buy. So in growing economy, you grow the sectors the same with the income groupings. You don't allow people to be poor. A market is taken away. Every time market is taking away their income and you are expecting your economy to grow, that the GDP to be growing. It will never grow. It will never grow because it's a composition of monetary values of what you produce. And that monetary values has to do with the participation of individuals within the economy. Individuals within all the income groupings, including, like I told you the other time, that to reduce the number of autonomous consumers. If you don't reduce the number of autonomous consumers, you are not going to have a positive GDP growth rate. And Saudi Arabia, look at what they are consuming. For instance, if you are to be in Saudi Arabia for the first time, you landed in either in Jeddah or in probably in Medina, you see the activities going on in the airport. You realize the potential. Even if each and every potential visitor is just to take a bottle of water, how much Saudi Arabia is going to generate with value-added tax. Talk less of during Hajj operation, Nigeria is sending 90,000 pilgrims. Each are going with income. Income just to feed and sleep, because you only pay for hotel and what you eat, and you pay for transport. This is what is keeping Saudi. Even with this one, Saudi Arabia will remain comfortable without oil. Okay. Because Egypt, as small as it is, with a small size of visitors, were able to maintain the tourism industry, and they were able to strive and create million jobs. Look at you when you go to Saudi Arabia, all the petty jobs is not being done by medium consumers in Saudi Arabia. It's been done by the Asian and other visitors or immigrants that are employed to give you services, either as taxi drivers, either as guides and others.
We'll take a short break now, and when we come back, we'll continue on the investment the Saudi Arabian government promises Nigerians' economy. Are we stopping at 55 minutes or how many minutes? going through what's going about the way the investment was going. And now we're going to move on to what the leaders discussed. And in your view, Malam Yushau, how might enhanced security cooperation impact not only in Nigeria, but also the broader West African and Sahel regions?
You see, for long, West Africa has been challenged with insecurity, and it is part of our history. I may not want to dwell into it, but for the purpose of record. Okay. You know, even within Hausa State, there was serious war between Hausa State. That brought the collapse of the Hausa State. Kano want to attack Katsina, Katsina want to attack Kano. Neighbors. So that conflict ended with the coming of Islam. And when Islam came, Sheikh Osman bin Fodio now took over with the jihad. The jihad concentrated Fulani leaders around in most Nigerian and Niger and part of Niger. But however, if you take the complex nature of insecurity in Africa today, it's mostly as a result of tribal wars and the tribal confusions. The Umuleri, Uguleri case study, I have been there. You see how environment was wasted, how farmlands cannot be utilized. When you come back to Jukuns and the Fulanis, the same war. That graduated for people to begin to go far and exploit other means to sustain themselves. That brought the movement of arms, the armed deals, and the collapse of the Libyan government. When the European came, they destroy a functional government, and that destruction caused a lot of havoc to the entire region, where weapons that are supposed to be kept with the state is now went into the hand of different individuals, and that is why today we are suffering. So the first thing to be done is to control the movement of ammunition around West Africa. If you mention most of the terrorist groups, you find them in all the states, but they are more active where they have more active membership. Besides that one, also if you check insecurity as far as stability of political institutions is concerned, Niger Republic today is facing a very serious danger, and we are happy that we have not aggravated the matter by interfering, because most of the interference will only generate to long wars, and at the end of the day you find a situation where you don't even know what you are fighting for. And that is why today, in generality of Africa, right from the Congo Brazzaville down to, for instance, to Somalia, down to Eritrea, you see, these are people with common history, the Eritrean and the Ethiopians, but they are at war, and they are using sophisticated weapons. So when you check on average the entire Africa, there is a lot of conspiracy theories. And our leaders have to be more careful, have to watch the event, have to be more friendly. And the only way you can deal with this kind of situation is for proactive governmental decision of making investment at the right places. When people are secured and invest the taxpayers' money in the right areas, nobody will be willing to take arms. But in a situation where a whole community has no place to go, they depend on one occupation or the other, and it is taken away from them. What stopped them from joining all these armed and other related organizations that are scrambling for no reason to disturb the African peace and stability? Remember, the more peace you attain, the more development you achieve. Most of the economies of Saudi Arabia tried as much as possible. We have to employ experts of Saudi Arabia to see how they were able to control. Do you understand? Before there used to be attack on Hajj performance. Do you understand? So, but with the recent developments, Saudi Arabia were able to use the resources they have at hand and control the generality of the boundaries that is called Saudi Arabia today. And today also, the entire boundary is witnessing one or two development process which keep people active in their region. So we must keep our people active. Look at Kaduna Abuja Road. Kaduna Abuja Road, for God's sake, the only point at which you realize that we are probably using our potential is of recent, where we see some factories are being located. We cannot allow a fallow of land of that nature without investment in mechanized agriculture. Even if you decide to invest, you understand, in abattoir, You create a big abattoir
yes,
because
it's doable.
yeah,
we consume a lot of meat.
we consume a lot of meat, and it's the center of Nigeria, and you can distribute from that.
Sure.
These are some of the projects that you can cite them, and because there is rail to assist you, there is road network to assist you, and when you cite those industries, you bring security apparatus close by so that you can checkmate the excesses of hoodlums and other bad eggs in the society.
Okay, so you talked about the security. I'm thinking towards the Kaduna Abuja axis.
Yeah.
Is it possible that the government just makes it a farm for the government? You talked about Ukraine earlier, how they are not much, but then they produce a lot, and we have the land, and we still don't utilize it as much as we do. Is it possible to protect, when we actually cultivate the land, is it possible to protect it all the way? Because it's really vast, and Nigerians, the hoodlums, they are also vast, and their brain just boots properly.
It's because of high unemployment and high poverty level in the economy and high abuse of laws. These are things that cause much of our disasters. In Kaduna Abuja Road, let me tell you, the most dangerous part is Kateri from history. But do you know that Kateri is hosting the biggest dam in Nigeria, the Salini project? So if we can make good use of that environment, there is water. We can farm throughout the year, and we can create fishing throughout the year. And at the same time also, they can generate so much of electricity from that. In fact, the entire region will have a good electrical.
Just the Kateri area.
Just the Kateri and Abuja Road. The entire energy, then you can now localize industries. You can make industries to go and locate. You have agri-processing industries. Look at what is happening. I salute Governor Erufai. That is, towards the end, he has started with Olam. Look at what Olam is doing. Look at the businesses that is generating. How do you expect bandits to come and stop Olam from being operational? So this is the kind of idea which, if we are extending, we extend them, we can distribute them. It's in the middle of the country, and not only it has a lot of potentials. The weather is stable. You have good economic environment. The only thing is, if you are to secure it better, why keeping defense headquarters in Abuja in Area 10? Do you understand? Why keeping it there? Why can't you take defense headquarters at the middle of that place? Let them be coordinated.
The academy is somewhere close.
The academy, no matter what, when Jaji was located, there was nobody in Jaji. And today, Jaji is a big settlement. These are some of the things that colonial masters did. Go and check history from 1928 when Magajin Gerinzas of Sambu decided to now create a scenario where to locate where Europeans can stay without hurting our culture. These are the decisions. So now it's a cogent decision that if we want Saudi Arabia to invest more, Saudi Arabia will invest more where there is security. Saudi Arabia don't want anything in security. And that is why today Saudi Arabia in the entire Arab world is the most stable economy, and they were able to contain a lot of negative security tendencies around its borders. So if I am to go along with the vision of the president, I will have loved Mr. President as an individual to look at this middle belt of Nigeria. You know, it is a function of brain work of somebody deep down in the 60s and 70s that there should be federal capital. Look at the vision today. True. Look at what, assuming that vision is not existent, how is this place going to look like?
It'll still be baggy area.
Not baggy area. It's not controlled by baggies. Baggies are coming from my town, from Zaria, Bindungwari. They just moved down here. It's not their land. Koro came from Kano. So leave that history aside. Fulani nomadics, they were in all West African corners. They are the first settlers in every place because they are the first people that can drive cows and go and settle alone with their cows.
True.
And then if they find the place conducive, and if one of their biggest cow accepted the environment, they will remain there.
If one of the biggest cows.
Yes.
Okay, moving on, we'll see how might this support influence Nigeria's economic stability and foreign exchange liquidity.
See, this stability I have been hammering. I have been hammering on the Central Bank of Nigeria. I disagree, and I will never agree with the using of monetary policy rate to stabilize prices, because the MPR as it is under the orthodox economic principle is a situation where you are aware of the total liquidity. If you are not aware of total liquidity that within the financial sector, that is when you use MPR. But in a situation where the money is outside, look, let us not deceive ourselves. Africa market, Nigerian market is a cash-based economy.
True.
It's not like Chinese. The Chinese, a single mother has her credit card. You will never see a Chinese with a cash at hand. So they can operate cashless because they are all digital, because there is infrastructure. In the African market, in the northern part of Nigeria, you have Kasuan Kurmi, you have Kasuan Fagi, you have Kasuan ABC. In the eastern Nigeria, you have Unko, you have Afo, you have different markets that is going around every time. And unless if you move with cash, that is when you have your goods and you have your ends means. So the theory of stability has to do with certain monetary and fiscal stability. Once the spending of government is not the same with the accruals of government, you have a problem. Let me give you an instance. This is an economy. In 2024, you are about to spend 26 trillion. If you are spending 26 trillion, you are borrowing nothing less than 8.5 trillion. So when you are borrowing, once you are servicing debt to about 8 trillion in a budget of 2.6 trillion, there is going to be crisis whether you like it or you don't like it. The only thing is to improve the revenues. And how do you improve the revenues? You look at monetary measures taken by the central bank. The monetary measures that are significant as far as monetary control is concerned is you look at the total liquidity that is in the economy. When you look at the total liquidity, you look at the general price level. And when you look at the general price level, you now strike a situation where whatever that is going to be priced in that economy is attributed to one economic factor or the other. What I mean here is a simple fact. Let me give you an instance. If you want to have stability in agric output, how much is agric input for you to maintain stability? Can you strike a stability when a 50 kilogram of fertilizer is costing 30,000 naira? Can you strike a stability when the AGO that is used to pump water in that same farmland is rising? You cannot strike. So you have to look at what are those factors that can maintain stability in the supply of these parameters. These parameters, the PMS, for instance, is a dual-edged sword. What I mean dual-edged sword is a situation where you want crude oil to be pricing high. If it price high, you have high income.
Yes.
But at the same time, you are importing a product of that same product into your economy at high price. You are importing inflation and you are having additional money in your economy. And that inflation will eat up and erode whatever powers individuals have in that economy. And that will bring slow economic growth. For instance, if I'm used to consuming that is for breakfast, I'm consuming bread, butter, cheese, and a margarine. But because my income now cannot sustain to buy the four products, the bread, the butter, the margarine, the cheese, now I have to buy only one, probably the bread. Then I have to do away with the three products. Doing away with them It's like killing the product and killing the company that is producing them. And that is a multiplier impact that is facing the entire economy. You find where you are trying to help employment to rise, you see unemployment rising. Because when price rises, it's not only rising and eroding income, it's also eliminating production and then eliminating the workforce line.
Okay. So let's quickly go to the challenges. The challenges this might face, you talked about them earlier, Kapo. Can you run us through that again?
The
challenges the Saudi Arabian government might face.
What I said initially is that the challenges first is insecurity. Second is the type of monetary policy and that we are operating. If we are operating, for instance, a floating exchange rate and we don't have enough exchange rate, we are going to have problem. Naira is going to be phased out. We also have to look at our ease of doing business policies. Are they coming for us to target our taxes on them? If we are targeting taxes on them and means that their profit is going low, no investor is investing. Like I told you, the classical economists always reveal, Adam Smith always trying to stress a situation where he emphasizes, I am always trying to bring this to notice of government, individual, and general household, that it is not out of a benevolence that a baker makes bread. It is out of a small profit that he is getting. That's why he's going to be making bread. So all this investment that Saudi is coming, we are going to have a problem with the ease of doing business principle. How many experts are coming with Saudi Arabia? If Nigeria has a policy, for instance, that only Nigerian engineers will work for our refining capacity, as an example. Okay. But Saudi Arabia is now coming with an option of coming with expatriates. Are you getting it? Mm-hmm. So how does that expatriate repatriate their income out of our economy for their own domestic use elsewhere? These are some of the things that we must make good provision, that we must also look carefully, the number of people that are coming, the number of experts that are coming, the type of technology is coming with the new technology. Look at the Kaduna refining capacity. It was Japanese technology. And that Japanese technology, later Americans took over, other nations took over, and they cannot manipulate the technology. Look at exactly what happened also in our steel company, that is Ajakuta Steel Company. It is a Ukrainian technology. If Ukrainian technology is in place, meaning that only Ukrainians have the ability to manipulate that technology for maximization. You cannot bring American. You cannot bring Japanese to where Ukrainian technology is based. So these are some of the things we must be careful, especially when refineries are concerned. There are modular refineries, there are single trend refineries like the one Angote is having, but what type of technology is involved, what type of professionals are manipulated to control. The history of Ajakuta will always guide us how to maintain expertise, how to train expertise, and how to sustain their performance in any industrial activity. Most of our engineers that are trained to come down to Nigeria and then make use of the Ukrainian technology ended up in Ukraine, ended up in Russia, and they are not back.
They left.
After training, they absorbed them. Do you understand? So who else can we use to take over our own steel industry? So the same thing applies at the initial stage. That is why I'm emphasizing that let Saudi Arabia invest in new refinery in the first instance. If they can invest in the new oil discoveries in Northeast, it will be better for us. Then to now come and look at other refineries, because the Kaduna refinery, different technology, Warren refinery, different technology, and the Port Harcourt, the two refineries that are located there, different technology. So in my own opinion, we can stabilize the entire economy by making good policies with the central bank, especially monetary policies, by making right injections into the economy using fiscal measures, and at the same time also by making sure that our economy is properly secured. Look at the investment. Even from the supplementary budget of this month, greater percentage of it is going to maintaining security. And that traces us back to elementary economics, the production possibility frontier. Why is state producing? Is state producing civilian good, or is state producing military good? So anytime when you see the massive investment you are making is going to security, check other models.
Okay. So we just talked about the good news that is Saudi Arabian government going to invest in Nigeria refineries. With Malam Yusha Ali. Malam Yusha Ali, thank you for walking us through that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we have come to the end of the episode. We talked about investing in Nigeria's economy, which is the refineries that Saudi Arabia is going to invest in. I am Maria Ado Zakari. Till next time, do take care.
Thank you.